Hi everyone, welcome. I'm out here in my yard and I'm preparing to check in on this bin over here with the colorful lid. But before doing so, I'm coming over into what I refer to as my compost barrel. And what's over there is actually my outdoor worm system, overwinter system, sometimes I consider it. It's really sort of just become like the 5th year, version 5 of the outdoor worm bag, until it no longer classifies as being an outdoor system, because maybe I'll chicken out at some point and bring it inside. And that's really just what happened with version 4 that we just finished up with, and we just inaugurated this system 10 days ago with volunteers that we recruited from this system right here. And it was so much fun last time, I thought, why don't we try it again? I've got some food to plop in over here as well, and it's an assortment of broccoli and pumpkin bits. But before we can get recruits out of here, we've got to do the same thing that we did 10 days ago, which is just to get all this excess material out of the way. So over the course of the past 10 days, the system has simply continued to serve its main purpose of being a composting environment. Now, what we did in here 10 days ago, last time we recruited worms, was we left the feeding area right down the middle with all of the delicious large scraps of stuff that I found last time. And I was even in here, as you could see, a few days ago when I was making pulverized eggshell for my wormery. The grit that I use down here in my wormery is pulverized eggshell. I had a lot of stuff that I sort of considered as reject material, didn't pass through the fine screen, and instead of taking it to the machine for one more round of grinding, I just figured I would dispense of it in here. So here we go. This is what we're here to find. I didn't want to go crazy like we did last time. We didn't go crazy per se, but we did get pretty interactive with this system, digging stuff up, plowing through all the material the best we could. The system got an awesome aeration at the time, with me going through all the crabgrass that we found. That's what I'm sort of pulling out a lot of here, it seems. So let's I don't know, it did seem to me like we had a good little congregation of worms coming together over there. Every handful of this stuff actually seems like it's got a good number of worms in it. I guess I was really just interested in grabbing another couple hundred recruits before we head over into the outdoor worm bag version 5. So I think we could still spare another handful or two to see if we can find a few more intrepid souls to go off and go live in uncharted territory, a brand new environment. Down here is like a nice mushy glob of stuff, felt like mostly worms. Yeah, they must have been huddled around this piece of yummy pumpkin. I guess my aim wasn't really to pull out a bunch of yummy stuff. My aim was just to get some worms together. Anything big like this thing here, whatever this is, I don't think I want to bring this over. This is just a piece of paper. This is what we had a bunch of shredded paper in. There's large food bits over here too, and there's a few worms on it that I could evict, but this large food item I think belongs back in the compost barrel. So I think we've got ourselves a nice haul of worms here. Perhaps a lot of these larger sticks too. We can exclude these from being transported over into worm bag version 5. And here too, whatever that is, just a large leaf and some sticks and stems. I mean, this is all going to go over as just familiar environment for the worms as they get transported from location A to location B. And then they can choose to move out and explore the surrounding environments when they're good and ready. But you know what? Do we even need to grab any more? It just seemed to me like there was a nice little pocket of worms hanging out here on this little piece of stick. I don't know, you know what, let's leave it at that. We got all kinds of good stuff going on down here, but it's time to pack this thing in. We can bring back all of this uncomposted material that was resting out on top. This will give it a nice advantage by being plopped straight down into the feeding area, and that's it. Nothing special. Compost barrel just gets managed pretty much like that. So now it is over into the version 5 outdoor worm bag, the official version number 5. I've been in here over the past 10 days. I did pop in a few times off camera just to make sure things were good from a moisture perspective. Like I showed you guys last time when we were in here together, I did actually protect the space in between these two double bagged fabric bags here with a piece of plastic. So it has a good amount of moisture protection around the edges, and even that piece of plywood on top was there for that same purpose too, to keep moisture in and to keep it looking nice too, because it's a pretty nifty looking piece of plywood, if I do say so myself. So yeah, okay, this is looking pretty good. We tried to leave a good bit of this native material behind for these little guys to remain in as long as they felt comfortable, and then they could only maybe start venturing down into the system when they were comfortable to do so. Now, I guess to inspire them to maybe become a little bit adventurous and to head down into the system, I did actually plop in some food items for them. Some stuff that was already in there when I built the bin. So prior to the video being prepared last time of the system being launched with the volunteer worms from the other system, we had already taken care of getting this system fed. And well, it looks like these food items didn't really get approached too much by any worm traffic. Perhaps the material was still a little bit too foreign for them to wander through, but now I've kind of broken that stuff up and combined it with some neighboring materials, hopefully stuff that the worms feel comfortable eventually getting down into. And you know what, let's take care of one other thing. As long as we've got a nice little opening here down the middle, let's get the additional food in here. That'll further inspire the worms to explore, right? At least I would hope so. That's the idea. So we got ourselves a nice little assortment of frozen pumpkin, frozen broccoli, which I believe is going to make the surrounding materials nice and damp as this stuff thaws out, making the middle section nice and hospitable for worm traffic, or at least I would hope so. And let's see about covering it up with some of this kind of, at this point, abandoned material out on the edges. It is a little bit dry out there, right on the corner of being covered by the top and being protected by the plastic around the edges. So that very outer portion, I believe, is always going to just tend to be a little bit drier. But I think we're ready now. We're ready to plop in our little friends. System's been fed. Now we're gonna do the worm launch. Let's get this material over here. Once again, kind of like we did last time, we're gonna bring this thing over, plop it in, and they're gonna have all this familiar material that came over from their previous environment to hang out in, to be comfortable in, up until such a time that you know, they feel like it's okay to venture out and explore the rest of the system. So like I do all the time, I'm curious to hear what people think in terms of how many worms we managed to recruit and haul over here. So once I take everyone's comments, their guesstimates for how many worms we've got here, I'll go ahead and do what I always do. I'll average that number together and it'll become part of the official worm count for this outdoor worm bag version 5. So let's quit massaging these little guys. Let's let them loose in their new home and we'll be finished here. See a few worms in here still. Let's see if we can evict them and let them join in the housewarming party with the rest of the gang. All right. I should be able to pick these other additional little guys out after we let the rest of them start getting settled in. So let's leave them be for a little while, and then we'll cover up and we'll be finished. Once again, don't forget, give me your estimates. How many worms did we just release here? Alright, I really look forward to hearing what everyone's guesses are on how many worms we just added to the population of worm bag version 5.0. Some little pockets of this stuff has good amounts of worms hanging out in it. I'm sure something about each little handful drew my attention somehow, causing me to reach out and pick it up and bring the little guys over. Yeah, almost every little pile has a good number of worms hanging out in it. So as you can see, they get to hang out in their native material that they've been living in for the past 10 days. It's true, even this stuff 10 days ago, the stuff that they're in right now, was all tilled up from other places. So these worms, I'm sure they can handle it. A little bit of disruption here and there, but I also don't want to be, you know, mean. I want to give these little guys their piece. So we're done here. Let's get these little guys covered back up, kind of the way we found them, and we'll be done here. So I think the plywood is doing a good job keeping the moisture in. You saw good moisture down the center. I think the plastic bag also around the sides is helping with moisture retention a lot. It's just these very edges around the perimeter, I think, that are going to get a little bit dry, but in time it'll all kind of even out, and it'll be hardly even noticeable. So I've got a little bit of cleaning up to take care of, and I'll take care of putting everything away as well. But before I get to work on that stuff, let me just really quickly say thank you. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, as always, please don't forget to leave me a quick thumbs up before you go. That's always really appreciated. And if you haven't done so already, please also consider subscribing to the channel. That's very much appreciated as well. All right, everyone, have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye now.